What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Entrepreneurs Play Crash Team Racing Part 9. We are beginning the gym cups. All of them, all 5 of them. We're going to start with the red one. And then I'll just start from the red one and work my way left. Now, what the gym cups does is it utilizes a point system. What you do is you have a set number of points that you race over 4 tracks. The points are awarded to you based on your finishing position. If you finish first, you gain 9 points. If you finish second, you gain 6. If you finish third, you gain 3. And if you finish fourth, you gain 1. Positions 5 through 8 do not gain any points. So you definitely want to be very careful about finishing back there. And the racers actually try a little bit harder. For whatever reason, it seems like they've been turned up too hard at difficulty, even though I don't believe there's a difficulty setting for the AI. There may be on adventure mode, not adventure mode, but arcade. I don't remember for sure whether there is or isn't, but there very well may be. But of course, you know, if you have the super boost pads and you use the sliding turbo boost as much as I do, they really are no match. The only problem is, at the start of most tracks, you can get bogged down at the starts pretty easily, and that's pretty much where the problems will be at, you know, with the races, or with the at the start of the races. That's the biggest problem. And you can see I'm just sitting here laying a bunch of stuff down. Doesn't seem like they're hitting any of their regular lines for whatever reason. I've littered a whole bunch of stuff around. I think only Coco got hit by something. No, somebody got hit by something. I was hoping to get a under 30. Oh, that's pretty cool. Tiny passed him. See 9, 6, 3, 1, and then positions 5 through 8 don't get any points. And they will be added at the end of the total. This is the total screen. The other one, the first screen was the result screen. This one is the total points you have. So the most you can get is 36, points total for coming in first. And you will always start. You will always start in the position that you finished the previous race in. So if you finish third, if you finish worse than first, you will have a problem there. Most of the time, if you don't get, if you're not starting last, you can actually be able to pull up, and you'll be able to get a good. Well, as long as you get a good acceleration boost at the start, you shouldn't have any trouble. But you can see here the crowd is actually staying with me pretty easily, which is always a problem. And just another reason why they are on hard difficulty is that they will usually take a faster line, a tighter line. Again, no matter how bad they are at handling, they will always take a faster line. So you always want to be very, very careful, and not just assume that I got a good acceleration boost at the start, that I'm gonna win for sure. If you don't continue to use the power slide even half as much as I do, you'll end up having problems with the race, once it gets to a certain point. And I don't want to give Pearl all these points. I'm hoping that he will take some of the lines that Tiny did, but right now all I'm hitting is just Tiny, sadly. But maybe he'll get hit by maybe Cortex will pass him. Don't know for sure. Well, that didn't seem to affect Tiny all that much. I guess he didn't actually get hit by, or he didn't fall down the hole. But now this is actually pretty fun to watch. Them try to fight for points and all that. It's a lot more fun than just finishing in whatever positions they would normally finish in. I figured pretty much whoever goes into that left corridor first will usually end up getting a lot of points. And look at that. Engine and Polar gets points. Of course, Engine doesn't get that many, but Polar definitely benefits from it, and Tiny not getting any points. That should tie everybody up with. It's tied for second place with 6 between everybody, and then you could saw I believe it was Engine and Cortex had 2 points, and Dingo and Coco didn't have any points. And it's very unpredictable. You never really can tell who will finish where, and who will get points. Just something like that. Messing up everybody, knocking Pura back as far as I did, allowing Polar not getting hit by any of my traps. That can definitely affect the way that the races and the points end up. But anyway, and this is just again evidence that they are on hard mode. I mean, like, Polar shouldn't have been able to pass me and then be able to fight me for control of the race as much as he did. Whoa, as much as he did. Oh, they're so good. Oh, there goes my shortcut. That pretty much erased everything going along that shortcut at the start that I did, and they're catching up to me pretty rapidly. So I guess you can't set stuff on the edge of cliffs and hope to be able to make it. That doesn't really make sense, but oh, aha, that sucks. No one's gonna jump that high. You want to be very careful about laying stuff in the air, because no one's gonna jump as high as you do. And so a lot of people won't actually. Nobody's gonna hit that. I'll be lucky if I don't hit it, to be honest, because as I said, I'm the only person that would jump that high. Of course. I was hoping I would be able to hit Tiny or Polar, knock them out, and then Dingo and Coco could have gained some points, but there you go. I'll tumble across the finish line. At least Coco scored a point. Let's see, 27, 12, 9, 6, 1, 1, 1, 0. I'm sure he'll get a point. I mean, we still have one more ready to go. If you notice, they are not in the order in which you got them. So this should be Papu's Pyramid. Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, they won't be in the order in which you got them, or that the order that the tracks appear in. So you can't affect the way the races will go. Like if you want to go after, start in Glacier Park and then end with, then end with Insanity Island or whatever you want to do. You can't affect the outcome like that. It would be pretty cool, but I think it would have. Oh wow! I believe it would have probably took too much of the memory. In the disc and all that, and there are limitations to what they could do back then. It's not like today where they probably could have added something like that in the game if the game had come out around now. And oh, there goes Dingo's chances. He's been eaten again, and he's way too far back to be able to capitalize. And Polar doing so good is actually something very weird that can happen. That they will just, people that didn't do so good in the first race or in a single race will actually come back pretty strong and will actually fight for a second or third place. Well, usually second, but they will fight for a top 4 spot in the points, and that's just something weird. It always seems to happen. Almost every single gym cup that I've done will end up like that in one way or another. Some character that didn't do so good at the start will end up doing pretty good at the end. I wonder if I can actually lap Dingo. Haha, that's pretty cool. This is the only track where you can actually lap somebody if you don't have if you don't have it on 3 laps, just having someone that has such bad luck like Dingo has is about the only way that you'll be able to lap somebody where they get eaten by almost every single plant. And so there you go. You know, Polar was outside the top 4 in Crash Cove, and now he's in second, and that's just the way it goes a lot of the time. But Dingo didn't get any points. I have actually had the same people finish in the top 4 in different positions throughout a entire gym cup. Through the entire gym cup, and the guys who ended up 5th and 8th in the first race was in 5th and 8th, just in different positions at the end of the race, which I thought was pretty weird. And I've had actually people score at least 1 point before, so you know you really never can tell what's going to happen in these races. Except, you know, back behind you, of course. You know, once you should be able to win the race pretty easily. Wow, that was weird. Of course, it threw off my line, and I can't. What the hell? I can't get back going again. Everyone keeps running into me. Oh, great. I could run through the grass for this and use this as a shortcut. No, I think I will. Yeah, I'll go ahead and use it now. If I can hit Purra and knock him back. I'd rather him not get too many points. There we go. It looked like for a second there I'd almost forced him through the wall. You really don't have to use too many shortcuts unless you're having just a really hard time with a track. You shouldn't ever really need to use shortcuts just because it's so easy. You know, of course, the AI racers actually try, but for the most part, it is pretty easy, and you don't really actually ever have to use the shortcut. And Polar finishing 5th again. He'll probably end up coming in 2nd again. Now, for whatever reason, the total points will always have the player in 5th end up 8th, and the player in 8th end up 5th. I don't know if the 6th and 7th place guys swap positions. They may, though. I do think that Tiny's going to give me a lot of trouble going through here if he keeps finishing 2nd. And I guess I didn't mention that as well. All of the other racers will finish in their positions that they, or will start in the positions that they finished in as well. Maybe I shouldn't have dumped all of those missiles so fast, especially with Tiny taking such a ridiculously tight line. But there's ways to fix those, fix the tight lines. As long as you will go into their lines and lay stuff down, you shouldn't have a problem with it. I don't know what's wrong with Dingo. Sometimes that will happen. You know, one character will fall really far behind for no reason, and it really doesn't make sense. But I'll see if I can at least get him to come in. If I can keep messing with Tiny, I'll maybe be able. Oh wow, and there's Polar. And he's actually coming up pretty fast. He may end up passing Engine and end up passing Cortex. I don't know about Cortex, but he'll... Wow. Now, I could wait here, but I'll just... well, at least he didn't finish in 2nd. But, Dingo. Finishing with no points. Wow. At least Purr even has a point. But you can actually get it where I don't think almost every character or every character can get. Yeah, I guess every character could get a point by the second race. Well, no, because you would have to come out. You'd have to finish outside the top 4, so that wouldn't be able to happen. But you can have almost every single character get a point by the second race. And there's Dingo again, starting in 8th, falling behind already. Whoa. Let's see who that hits. Placing it above a gap really doesn't affect you all that bad. Affect the effectiveness of the trap. It doesn't really do, especially if it's a beaker, it won't actually help you all that much. But if you can get like a nitro crate, you'll actually have a better chance of knocking them down a hole. Of course, if they hit a nitro, they are going to fall down a hole regardless, but they have a better chance of falling down the hole. That's pretty cool. Dingo will get a point. Polar won't get a point. Well, that's actually 3 for 1. Engine got caught up in it as well, even though you didn't hear his voice cry out in pain. And I'll probably end up hitting Dingo, and he'll fall back to 8th again. But you never know. He may actually end up coming in 2nd. You just have to watch Dingo's face or listen for his voice. Now, of course, there is no point in laying anything above that hole there, or above the shortcut there. So I definitely would not suggest doing so, just because it will end up affecting you. And looks like Polar got hit by that thing that I laid down. I thought that was his line, but I was afraid that someone else may hit it. At least he should finish. If he doesn't finish in the top 4, he won't fall back as far, but that won't help him. He has to score a point for it to help him. I guess I'll try to lay something else somewhere else. I don't want to mess up Dingo's chances, but I would like him to get a little bit higher than at least just 1 point. And if I can hurry up and finish the race, he may be able to get ahead of Tiny, which would always be nice. You can kind of watch where the other racers run, and that can kind of tell you where their lines are, especially going over a jump or a turn or something like that. And because Cortex is actually gaining on him, I'll go ahead and just finish the race. But yeah, that's 3 points. If he gained, at least that puts him ahead of Purra and into the top 5. That ain't too bad. If he can get ahead of Coco, he may actually end up in the top 4. I think if they're tied, it's the position that you finished. If you finish ahead of the other racer, then you should have an easier time, if they're tied. But he fell back fast. Well, that sucks. Couldn't get it out fast enough. But yeah, he fell back fast. And of course, Tiny. Now that sucks. And there's really not a whole lot to say, to be honest, especially on the first lap. You'd have to just feel it out, see where everyone's gonna finish, and their racing lines and all that for me to be able to comment on it. But for Tiny, I've never actually had anybody give me this much trouble at the start of a race. I do know his line now, so I can affect him a lot easier if I don't let that happen to me. Yeah, I can give Dingo, well, of course he's going to get hit by the thing. What the? Okay. Now this may end up bad. If I can hurry up and get ahead. But the super boost pads will definitely help. They won't give you a for sure win, you know, a for sure advantage, just because you never know. You know, there's not a lot of boost pads stuck around everywhere. So you really can't say, oh, well, you know, you have the super boost pads, so you're a for sure win. Well, no. Of course. You know, that's not a guarantee that you will actually end up winning just because you have the super boost pads on. That does stink about Dingo. Of course, I keep getting stinking boosts instead of actually useful crap. Yeah, I guess if you look at my my second lap time, and 59:03, I'll take the shortcut this time and see how good that helps me out. And see what that does for my lap time, since this seems to be an okay lap. If I can cut the corner here, that may even... Huh. Well, I don't think it actually helps by a full 8 seconds, but you know, you get the point about how useful it is. That's not too bad. Dingo finishes in the in 5th, and everybody gets a point. That's not too bad at all, to be honest. But anyway, so since we've done seen these two, I haven't seen them on the podium together, but we've done. But because we've seen them on the podiums before, we'll go ahead and I'll just skip it on. I don't skip that every time we've never seen someone. You know, if we've already seen their podium positions before, I will go ahead and skip them. I think the only one that we... Was that the only one that we didn't see was Cortex crying like that in 3rd? I think so. Well, that stinks. Maybe he'll come in 3rd again and I'll be able to show it off. But you can kind of see what he looked like in while he was in 3rd. You know, it's not that big of a thing to see. It's just, especially up close, you know, that's not going to really affect the affect the view all that much. I would like to get this and have it mess up everybody. Yeah, getting messed up on the jumps like that will definitely slow you down. I was hoping to grab Purr on that as well, but thankfully Dingo's doing a little bit better. That's always helpful, or I guess good. Not really helpful. It doesn't help me out all that much. And trying to find a racing line across these jumps is actually pretty difficult. If you have like a TNT or a nitro, you definitely want to lay it down. I would suggest at the right after a tiki head, because you know, if they do get hit by it, they're already in the middle of spinning out, and then they get hit by something else, and that definitely makes it a lot worse. Because it's actually happened to me before. So one of the AI characters laid something down in my path, and after I got hit by a tiki head and got hit by it, and definitely wasn't fun, and it was pretty funny as well. So that's why I usually try to lay one down right after a head, if I can. You know, of course, not every single time you can, but it definitely. If you can, it definitely helps slow them down a lot more than it would have normally if you had just done it by themselves. Looks like Tiny's going to be the one to be slow. Yeah, he shouldn't be that slow even after I had hit him with a... well, you know, all I did was hit him with just a green shield. Of course, the color of the shield won't affect affect him all that much. You know, it won't affect how much he tumbles or the effectiveness of the shield when you run into somebody. But it shouldn't have messed him up or it shouldn't have slowed him down all that much. So maybe that's just, you know, it's his turn. You know, he gave me so much trouble during the Green Gym Cup. Maybe that's just his turn to be the slow one for now. Maybe not. No, of course. That's what usually happens. I don't suggest laying something down where I did, just because it usually never works. And if you can lay something right before the boost pad, they usually won't, or you know, right before the boost pad, or during the middle of the boost pad, they usually won't have enough speed to make it across the gap. Like, you know, I noticed how I hit Engine and knocked him off the thing, or into the hole. It works, you know. It's definitely useful, especially if you want to mess with someone enough, or fix a race to, you know, like one of these races, to help get whoever you want to, wherever you want to. I'll see if that's actually a good racing line or not, and see if it hits anybody. I don't guess so. Oh, yeah, I guess so. Haha. So that ain't too bad. Kind of helps. It kind of keeps people, or slows people down when they're trying to cut a corner. Looks like Pura hits the the outside line. It looks like he also got crushed, so. I'll see if I can, well, I guess I can mess with Cortex again. I'm not sure. I think he hits the middle line, so if I can hit that, I may be able to. I'll see if I can do that. And that's not a bad idea to lay something like right before one of the barrels. Yeah, we'll see. I may actually slow down and wait and see what happens to him. Because I'd like him to come in third again, so that or finish third in the championship, and so you can see his animation again. Of course, that doesn't really help my chances, because I have to force Pura to get ahead of him, or try to see if Dingo slow them, so both Cortex and Pura down enough to have Dingo get ahead of him. Yeah, as you can say, it looks like Pura and Cortex are going to be the ones that gave me the problems at the start of these races. For whatever reason, Tiny just can't keep up. You know, I mean, he can get into the top 4, and then it just seems like he gets hit by something and just slows him down way too much. And you can just see how bad not being able to turn did for Cortex. It definitely slowed him down quite a bit. And it did help Pura, even though I don't think their abilities actually affect anything. That's just their AI racing lines that they take. Of course. Well, that ain't too bad. Cortex finishing this far back. I'll try not to mess with Dingo too much and have him try to finish up ahead, but of course he won't. But anyone who can score points, ahead of Cortex will definitely help. I would rather not Pura do it, but I don't believe I can actually hit him enough to slow him down, and because Dingo is so far back, and he's pretty much the only one that can challenge Cortex's spot, I don't think it really would matter. You know, it would actually be beneficial to what I'm doing if I can get Pura more points, so I may just have to let my hatred for Pura. That stinks. That's a point ahead of Dingo or anyone else who has 1 point. I guess Coco is the one that would benefit from this the most. Not really. He's pretty good. So it looks like I think he may actually finish third. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure though. As you know, there's really Cortex could finish outside the top 5, and Dingo come in second, and that could affect how it ends. Because while Cortex has, on average, finished better than Dingo, I don't know if they would just go ahead and give the place to Dingo or what they would do. That's good. Whenever you can hit multiple people. It's a shame. I thought it was going to hit him above over that hole. But now, if Cortex, I believe if Cortex finishes ahead of Pura, if he comes in third or second, and Pura doesn't gain any points, he will come in second because he's only like 2 points behind Pura. So Pura has to come in third to be able to. Okay. I don't. Yeah, Pura was the only one that would have been able to move Cortex out of the way, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, you pretty much saw his losing animation, even though not very good. But I mean, at least you did see it a little bit. And there's really no slowing Cortex down. He's got a huge advantage over the other racers right now, and Pura's just way too far back there for me to be able to effectively do anything unless Cortex was to get crushed by one of the toxic barrels that fall. And you've seen some characters, like Engine right now, that got crushed by one, but didn't fall down the hole, and so it didn't really help out anybody all that much. Wow. I'm surprised no one else hit that other than me. I am honestly surprised by that. And of course no one hits that nitro that I'd laid down. What the? I didn't see that. Stinks. Trying to slow Cortex down a little bit just to maybe give Pura a chance, but I don't think Pura has a chance at all, to be honest. And actually was pretty much trying to mess up Polar and have him not finish up there, but it doesn't really matter either way. Well, there you go. Cortex finishes in second. But at least everyone got a point. So anyway. Since we have already seen these before, I'm going to go ahead and skip that. Crap, went the wrong way again. I keep doing that. I keep thinking you have to turn to the right and head down that way. Just by looking at the map. But anyway, sadly, I'm going to go ahead and have to end the video here. I'm running out of time, so I thank you for watching. There won't be a challenge to the video just because, well, yeah, I guess there will be, because this really isn't an informational video. So, challenge video is, where did Dingo finish in all 3 of these gym cups? You know, each position that he finished. Well, Well, I don't guess there will be a challenge video, just because it doesn't really matter. But anyways, thank you for watching. Until next time.